let's move on then, shall we? We're going to take your calls not on Mike's spag ball, but instead on whether Oasis should refund the difference to fans who were overcharged for their concert tickets. Give us a call. 0207 862 2222 is the number, and we'll speak to you in just a moment. So tickets for the band's reunion shows sold out on the same day they went on sale. That's probably unsurprising, but fans have criticised the sales. Thousands sat in online queues for the whole day, only to be kicked off the site at the last minute. Or if they did manage to get through, they were shocked to see something called dynamic pricing, in which their £135 ticket was now being sold for a whopping £350 instead. Now, it's allowed, and bands are likely to have been aware that that would happen, so Oasis would have been aware. So should they refund their fans who forked out hundreds of pounds more than they were expecting to? Mike, did you stay online for a ticket?
No, I didn't. I'm going to refer to the Daily Mirror here because, of course, it's Mr. Maguire's paper, Keir versus Oasis. But if you look at the leader page inside, which I think you wrote, didn't you, Kev?
I did.
Poised to earn tens of millions of pounds each from the dynamic pricing ticket scramble, Noel and Liam Gallagher should demand that fans charged inflated prices by the Oasis gates are compensated. I'm sorry, that's not the real world. In the real world, in the capital world, when the biggest reunion in the history of pop music is about to happen, I'm afraid you've got to take the pain. If you want to get involved, it's going to be very painful to get to one of those gigs.
Yeah, why do Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift? Huge. They don't do dynamic pricing. Bruce Springsteen regrettably did. I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. And the Oasis lads have done it now. They're going to make millions and millions of pounds.
They are.
And good luck. They're very popular, clearly.
Yeah.
What I object to is not the prices they sell the tickets, but it's that dynamic surging bit, which is their responsibility. Don't blame the ticket company. It's them. They and their promoters say they wanted to make extra cash. Now, I know airlines do it. Uber cabs do it. Yeah. It's all about demand.
Well, OK, but here's my argument when it comes to concert tickets for dynamic pricing. I thought about this and I thought, well, the alternative is that you don't do dynamic pricing, you don't separate the real fans from the touts, and then you have to pay excessive second-hand prices by the touts who aren't even fans, and the band doesn't even get the money. At least in this way, it's going in the hands of the people that you're buying the gig for.
You're right on that front. I'm not going to dispute that, but I'd take separate action against what they call the secondary market.
Okay.
The touts, whether they are people who buy or sell,
but you can't,
or individuals who buy tickets, never intend going, and then go straight on somewhere like StubHub, via GoGo, and are touting them at much higher prices.
In the modern world,
a ticket, you could pass a law saying you can not sell a ticket above the face value.
You could never find the scalpers, could you? In this day and age, they're all on screen and all that. But you know, the way you've written this is touching in that you care for the fans. But to suggest that Oasis, the two members of Oasis, the Gallagher brothers, could do anything about it is it's like saying Ronaldo's playing at the Burnabout today. We think the tickets are too high. Call over to Ronaldo and tell him to get the price of the tickets down. It's
the ticket
nonsense.
The ticket prices and the way they're sold are agreed with the band through their promoter. Now they have no control over the touts, but it does, Mike. It is. It is. Well, you're just wrong.
The market will set the price because this is the biggest rock event in 15 years.
If that's true and you believe that it's got nothing to do with the band, explain to me then why Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran don't do dynamic pricing. They will not allow it to happen.
Well, whilst I'm not demeaning the talent of Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran, this event is 10 times a Sheeran or Taylor Swift
Well, it's
concert.
not going to have the same impact on the economy.
It's 10 times.
Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift are somewhat popular too.
But they do so many concerts.
They
do so many concerts.
Mate, but you're wrong.
No,
you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
The Gallagher brothers. We've had this silence, deafening from the Gallaghers, because they know they set the dynamic pricing through their promoter with the ticket sales. It's not the touts, that's separate, but they
don't go out and say, charge 400...
Mike, I'm going to go to the call. Lizzie from London, you're up first. What do you think? Should Noel and Liam have to refund some of those ticket prices?
Absolutely. Play your fans back, you creeps. Because without your
Okay.
fans, you
All right,
do
well,
nothing.
less of the name calling, Lizzie. I mean, it is something that lots of bands use, to be fair. I wonder whether actually when it comes to such big events like a reunion of Oasis, whether it's sensible to use this because maybe the inflation is just a lot higher than it would be for a smaller band. So maybe it was an accident on their part?
No, and Mike, you're incredibly naive as such a successful businessman. Secondly, what is wrong with the ex-wife that she needs 20 million?
All right, Lizzie, we're getting I mean, we're getting into somebody's private affairs here, Lizzie. I don't know anything about their
Don't look back in anger.
So, I mean, whether that's the reason
calm down.
they're having the reunion or not, I don't know. But can we stay focused on the pricing of the tickets?
Okay, the ordinary mortal human beings that are their fans are queuing up for 12 to 15 hours or going on the internet to become number 568,000, and then they're told that they either can't get a ticket or they've got to pay 500 quid. I mean, that's just sad. What is wrong with us? Their Oasis aren't even original. They're copies. You know, they nick everything. They've nicked Look Back in Anger by John Osborne. They've nicked the Beatles.
Lizzie, you're
They're
right.
copies. They're not that great. I'd rather watch Bingo in a care home, frankly. Better value.
Yeah, but other people will. Look, they're inspired by other musicians and they accept that. But they're hugely popular. They can charge top dollar for tickets. I'm not criticising that. But when you go in that queue and you're going for a ticket that's 135 quid, just because you haven't been able to get in the queue first, you've probably gone with other people, the computer keeps you down, you should not be having to pay 3 times that later on. That's the bit
That's market forces. That's market forces.
Well, yes, it can be.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the Oasis brothers.
Market forces are not always right, and you can regulate
I'm not saying they are.
That is it.
But they happen. You know, the Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith will tell you that, what is it, the dark hand of the markets will always set the price.
I've never been to any of his gigs.
Lizzie, what about the argument that actually if you have this dynamic pricing, it means that those exorbitant rises are still going to the band, so they're going to the right place rather than the touts where it normally goes?
Well, what I think, Storm, is that...
Tell us what you really think, Lizzie, because you've been shy in coming forward.
I'll not be personal, but they can organise it in a way that the touts don't get it and that the dynamic pricing doesn't get it. It's like a kind of Mike was talking about libraries closing because people can get information from other sources. This is the problem now. We're such a kind of, internet and celebrity-led world that once you close down the libraries, then you lose all that originality. And fans are now they're at the mercy of a very cynical exercise to make loads of money. I'm sure they can get rid of the touts and they can get rid of the dynamic pricing and give people fair prices.
Looks like Keir Starmer's trying to do just that. Lizzie, thank you for such a passionate call. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Alison from East Yorkshire, what's your view when it comes to this? Should Liam and Noel have to refund some of this cash?
Hi there. I think, they do. I think the whole thing was just horrendous and quite disgraceful, really. And I don't know whether that's down to the band or whether it's down to Ticketmaster. But myself, my husband and my friend, we were looking for 4 tickets between us. Mm-hmm. So we all was ready at 9 o'clock. My friend she got in the queue before us. We were just waiting. And when I managed to get on at about 20 past 9, I was number 160-something thousand in the queue. So my friend waited 6 hours. She got to the front of the queue and it kicked her out. I then persevered and held on for another couple of hours. We were looking for Wembley so that I can sit down because I've got a back problem. And I was expecting the tickets to be about £150. And when I finally got through, the exact same tickets had gone up to £489 each.
489, Alison, that's the most expensive I've heard. And did you pay it?
No, I didn't, because we'd all had a discussion beforehand how much were we prepared to spend, and we kind of came up with a figure of £250 each. But for myself and my husband, 2 tickets at that, with travel and a hotel, we'd be looking at probably £1,500 and the rest, and I just couldn't justify it.
Alison, completely understandable, and I don't think you're the only one in that boat, but really, really sad. And there's a genuine fan that's not going to be able to go see them now because of that. So, At bare minimum, this has just been very, very bad PR for the band, and we'll have to wait to see what they're actually going to do about it. But thank you very much for your call.